Welcome back. It is Sunday the 18th of January 2026 and we are back in the front bedroom of our house, and today we are going to do some sanding. So everything has dried nicely overnight and is nice and solid, obviously really rough. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to set up my Evolution wall sander, and I'm going to show you the setup with the dust extractor as well and how I go about it. And today we're going to mainly focus in on doing these two walls, and then the coving I'm going to end up having to do by hand because of the curve and everything like that. But yeah, once I get set up, I will show you my setup. Right, so after spending an hour and a half looking for the adapter for my dust extractor to attach onto the sander, I have put some fresh filters in my dust mask, and I always mark my old ones with some Sharpie or permanent marker so you know that these ones are dead. I've had these ones for ages. I have put a new 120 grit disc on the sander. This is the Evolution wall and ceiling sander, and that is the V-Tough Mini dust extractor. So that is an M-class dust extractor. So it is perfect for this sort of job. What I also suggest is put a nice new bag in there so that you're not filling it up, because it will sand a lot off of this wall and it will fill up the bag really quickly. So to save you constantly having to clean the filter or change the bag, just put a fresh bag in there for the cost. It's like £1 or £2 for a bag. And then now what we're going to do is we're going to sand all of this stuff and give the wall a sand, which should highlight any kind of imperfections. But yeah, what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to see if I can put you on time lapse and show you exactly how I do it. Right, so I have been sanding for the last hour, and these walls are actually a lot worse than I realised. I think I'm going to end up roller fillering both this wall and this wall. What I have noticed, and this is what I was talking about yesterday, is where people don't rake out the crack, they just put loads of filler over it. So if you see here, we've got filler from here to here, and I've been sanding this for about 5 minutes. But what you can see is the original crack right here, and it hasn't been raked out. It's literally just had a massive lump of filler over it. And if we look down here, probably hard to tell on camera, this has never been sanded. There is a hard edge there. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to rake out this crack, which leads all the way down here, and I'm going to sand it smooth so that we haven't got these big lumps on it. And then what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to roller filler it and speed skim it off, just to try and make these walls a little bit better, because the more I sand it, the more I look at it, there are kind of like divots all over this wall. And this is the original plaster. It's hard to tell, but there is like a row of divots all there that have all been like scraped out. And it's going to take me ages to fill all of these in stages and then come back and sand them all. So I think what I'm going to do, as you can see when I've sanded back this, there's a little crack in there from the bonding. So skim all of this, and then that will sand a lot easier, and it will fill in all of the little divots, any little imperfections, And then instead of using the small sander, which is what I've had to do to kind of get some of these bigger chunks sanded down, I'll be able to use the bigger one and do it. But you can see how the big ones worked. This is the crack that we filled yesterday. It is now lovely and smooth. It does need another skim of filler, so it makes sense again to roller filler this whole wall. Plus it will cover this kind of shiny silk paint, and it will bond to that absolutely fine. But yeah, I suppose we need to get the roller filler out. And what I've also been doing is I've been going around the room and then just holding this against the wall and looking to see where the light comes through. So as you can see, it's nowhere near flat. And I don't necessarily need it perfectly flat because no one's ever going to come in and do that. But I'd like to make it better than what it is with the amount of effort that we're putting into this house. So yeah, finish sanding the bottom of that so we haven't got some really big lips that we then end up putting more filler over it. And look at doing some roller fillering. Let's go. Right, so what I've done is I've sanded down the high spots of the filler. So you could see the filler over here was hiding this crack. Runs all the way down to the bottom. So I've sanded a load of that back. I've used my carbide tool to rake it out. There is another one there. I also noticed there was a small one running up from the light switch, so I've done that and it goes a little bit underneath. I've then come over here and realised the one that we did yesterday, there was actually another crack running to the right hand side of it, so I've raked all that out. And it's really hard on camera to see, but the wall is covered in little divots. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to roller filler this whole wall and that bit. Now, one of the tips, having used this roller filler 2 or 3 times now, in the living room, I tried to do the whole wall and then skim it at the same time. The problem is that the wall will start sucking the moisture out of the filler. So what I'm going to try and do in this room is I'm going to try and do sections, roller filler, skim, roller filler, skim, go all the way along the wall and see if that way is much easier to do it. That bit fell off, but that's going to be hidden by a wardrobe, so I'm not too concerned about down there. I just want to get the bulk of this wall done. Yeah, let's see how we get on. So this is how it looks after I've finished the roller filler. So I did this area twice because it was pulling too much of the material off, or I was pulling too much of the material off. And because it sands so well, I would rather put more filler on the wall and then sand it down after. So as you can see, there's loads of high spots and low spots. This bit here took, I think because it hadn't been painted, it was sucking the filler, the moisture out of the filler really quickly. So where I was rolling it on, I wasn't able to pull as much off. And now you can see the difference between putting it on a painted wall and putting it on a bare plaster wall. Even just looking at the top right there, you can see where more filler has come off. And this bit where it's just been bare. Plaster, it's drying really, it's sucking the moisture out, it's drying quicker. But it doesn't matter, this was all sand down much easier. This is all I can do for today. I need that to dry overnight. And then I don't know whether I'll be able to get round to sanding this until next weekend, just because of finishing work at 5 o'clock and not wanting to make much noise. But what I'm also going to do during the week is move the bed and everything that's on it over to the other side of the room, so that I can also fill these, cut them wires back, roller filler that bit of the wall, and I can also I'm going to leave that bit for now, but I'm going to fill all of the screws here and caulk between the plasterboards, because we will also paint that bit as well, just to make it neater until the wardrobes are done, because we don't know when that's going to be. And then yeah, hopefully by the end of next weekend this will all be filled and sanded and ready for a coat of white paint. Obviously I've still got to do the ceiling where the fitted wardrobe was, but that's going to be standing up the ladder sanding. I'm not doing that today. So yeah, thanks for watching. That's another weekend done. Yeah, it's been a lot. It's been really busy, and if you look at my arm, you can see how messy this stuff is. So if you're only going to use it in a small area, my advice would be to put something down on the floor. We're going to replace these floorboards with some chipboard, so I'm not too concerned about it. But yeah, and take your time, don't rush. Thanks for watching, see you tomorrow.